Aries, welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi. I will be your Starchaeologist for this October reading. Sorry I was MIA last month, guys. Life got in the way of life. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy for you to be joining me here today. And I hope that this reading is finding you in a good place. If not, then I hope this is the moment where you get that message that you need in order to turn things around and feel like you have the encouragement and tools and support to do that. My intention here is to align you with your highest path, your highest self, your highest purpose. If you have additional intentions that you want to set during this reading or a specific question that you want to ask, do that now while I shuffle and tune in. Set that intention, ask that question. Some of this will resonate with you, some of it won't. That's completely normal. If it doesn't resonate with you, then whatever doesn't, it's not meant for you. Aries, you are more than your sun sign. You are very complex. So if you want a more clear and full, comprehensive picture of the unique recipe that is you, I really encourage you to watch readings for your for the signs for your other placements in your chart, especially your rising sign, your moon sign, and your Venus. Okay, with that, let's see what Spirit has to say to you guys. Okay, Aries, wow, we have quite a month for you in October. 2 major arcana cards, punctuated by a court card right in the middle, the Queen of Cups. There is in October, there's either someone in your life, this Queen of Cups character, who is encouraging your creative pursuits, encouraging your imagination and that whimsical, loving part of you. Encouraging and supporting your obedience to that inner doctrine, rather than the societal doctrine, the cultural education, the cultural set of beliefs and opinions that you've become accustomed to, that you've just subscribed to based on blind faith or based on just what you've been indoctrinated into. So there's either a very this maternal influence in your life, this Queen of Cups influence in your life, someone who is encouraging this in you. But I think even more importantly, I'm hearing that for many of you, this is you. This Queen of Cups is the internal queen that is somehow, she's speaking louder inside of you, and she's having more of an authority over you. You are suddenly finding yourself obedient to her doctrine. It's that voice in your head that, no, it's a voice in your heart. It's not really a voice in your head. A voice in your heart that knows that your imagination has to be fed, your creativity has to be nourished, and that energy helps direct that into valuable activity as an artist, really developing a real sense of creative discipline without stunting the flow of creativity. There's just a real, the Queen of Cups is the most well-adjusted of all the court Cups characters, and more so than the King, because the King does stunt that creative flow. The Queen is completely at peace with it. She's found that balance, and I think that maybe you've been too rigid up until this point in certain ways. There are ways in which cultural doctrines, cultural belief systems have stunted that creative flow for you, and have suppressed and oppressed your imagination. This is an ultimate self-expression, a period of self-expression that you are stepping into, and it's really like becoming a spiritual experience for you. October's going to be incredibly inspiring for you, inspiring for future activity that you know will be successful, and that's a deep wisdom that you have based on your past achievements, but also based on this intuitive knowing of what is to come for you. There's a great, all of this is leading up to a great transformation, because we also have the Death card here. Whoa, that's loud. A really incredible transformation that I think for many of you is a bit of an ego death. There is some attachment to maybe what you thought your creative expression would look like, or what your self-expression would look like. An attachment to that because you've been defining it by the terms of this universal doctrine, of this cultural societal doctrine. And you know, this is not who you're realizing in October. I don't bow down to that anymore. I don't submit to that. I have much more faith in this part of myself than I do in these rules that have been imposed on me. And so I think what's dying here is not only your obedience to this set of cultural societal rules and beliefs that have given you this great foundation up until this point, but now you realize that you're a big fish in a small pond, and it's time for you to step outside that foundation. That foundation is meant to only serve as a foundation and nothing more. Too many of us spend our entire creative lives of self-expression trying to stay within that space, trying to stay within that foundation and not build anywhere from it. You're realizing that it's in you to build much more than that. And you had to learn the rules in order to know how to break them. You had to learn the rules and live by the rules in order to even desire to break them. And that is what's dying. I think also there's just this attitude of like, I don't care what other people think, and that's part of what this ego death is. That's part of what this ego death is. This any attachment to ego and the fear and doubts that have kept you submitting to this Hierophant before. Submitting to the cultural, societal belief systems, doctrines, and rules. You were doing that out of this need to protect your ego, protect yourself, to appease the ego in some way, which we all do. But now you're kind of waking up to understanding that's true creative self-expression, being true to yourself and being really aligned with yourself doesn't necessarily align with what's good for your ego, because you are not your ego. You are deeper than your ego. So it's time for that part of you to be transformed in the fire. and I think October is going to leave you, Aries, in a place of real transformation. The reason I'm also talking about an ego death with this death card is because I think that there's something that you've used to define yourself, and it's something in this education that you've had about the world, something in this universal set of doctrines, this cultural, societal set of doctrines that you have used as a metric to define yourself, and also to define your self-expression, to define your creative life, to also define what creates fulfillment and happiness for you. And you are realizing that you've defined yourself by this set of metrics that you don't want to be defining yourself by, but the fear of giving up that system, rejecting this system that you've grown up in, means risking not being able to define yourself for a period of time, not really knowing how to define yourself. It's like you're starting from scratch, and that is really the process of self-expansion and spiritual work, that where the real magic starts, where you're stepping outside of the rules and wiping the slate clean and saying, I don't know anything, and I'm okay with not knowing anything. I'm okay with figuring out for myself what is that internal doctrine that I'd like to be obedient to. I would like to design that doctrine myself rather than have someone impose it on me. If you're able to let go and surrender into this inevitable transition, because this is the death card, this is inevitable for you, and you can stall it as long as you like and procrastinate, but it's inevitable for you. So think about what stalling that will do for you, and what meeting death face to face proactively will do for you, because those will be different. Those paths could look different for you and could feel very different. I think one contains much more potential for joy and fulfillment, whereas the other contains a lot more potential for worry and suppressing what you know is right or what you feel you want. But as I was saying, the more you can, or the more quickly you can surrender to the inevitable transformation that's ahead of you in October, the more quickly you can step into your power, and really start this next chapter, like your reign as queen of your self-expression in this way, as a disciplined artist. And I say artist, I think so many of us reject that word and say, I'm not an artist. But if you are a human being who creates anything, and that doesn't have to be something tangible even, what you can be creating is connection in some way or another. That the act of creation is what makes you an artist. That is creative force, that is pure creative energy. And you're stepping into being a creative authority in your life, where you make the rules for yourself about what that looks like and what success in that realm looks like, rather than letting a group of doctrines that, or a set of doctrines rather, be imposed upon you and define that for you. So this is really exciting, Aries. What a time for growth for you. I would love to hear in the comments what this manifests as, what this looks like specifically in your life. So feel free to comment and let me know. This seems really exciting. I would love to know what you're working on, whatever you're pouring your heart into, because that really is what water, the suit of water, is about. What Cups is about. It's not even necessarily, as I was saying about being a creator, it's not necessarily about having a tangible project in front of you, something that you're working on, but it can be a relationship, a person, a connection, a cause, something in which you are funneling creative energy towards something outside of yourself. That's really what this is about for you, and I'd love to hear what that is. So yes, please comment. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. And please feel free to share Starchaeology Tarot with anyone you know who needs support and encouragement right now. This is a time where I think everyone needs support and encouragement, and that is why I'm doing this. That is what I'm here to do. And it's an honor and a privilege to get to connect with you in this way. So thank you for being here. I love you. I'll see you next time.